The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
And I'm ready to go crazy because the Celtics are going all the way.
Hey, Nick, go handle our light work.
Bowl games matter.
I would like a cold cut sandwich.
Attaboy, happen.
You can call him Eamon Owens because he ain't got no D and he ain't got no J.
James Madison.
Turn your body cams off. Do what you do.
Hey, everybody, what is going on? It is Tuesday night. That means it is time for another edition of Craft Fruit Sports. I am Mike. With me, as always, is Scott. Scott, how you feeling tonight, man?
I was so excited to see you guys this weekend. It was so much fun.
It was a good time. I mean, outcome of the game, not exactly what we wanted to see, but
No.
that was the Jinx. We brought the Jinx live to FC Cincinnati this weekend.
Yeah, it was just nice to see you guys in person. It's been few and far between over the last few years. So I had a good time. And, you know, there's Mookie who Mookied.
I had a great time. I really thought we'd be safe from the Jinx, though, because there was three of us. So it's like a triple negative. You know what I mean? Like a double negative means it's going to happen. So we had a triple negative, which meant the Jinx wasn't going to happen.
Well,
So
we can't leave that just sitting out there as to why Mookie.
He tried. He tried, though.
I tried to power right
past
through.
that.
Yeah.
So just to back up, Mookie is a season ticket holder at FC Cincinnati. They had Game 3 against New York City FC on Saturday night, elimination game. Mookie was like, "Hey, fellas, come with me. You're coming with me. We're going out, boys' night at FC Cincinnati." And we did. We went out. And some of us went a little harder than others. Some of us may or may not have thrown up in two different Ubers that night.
Look, some people have said that may have been what happened. I don't know if there's any truth to that. I don't know if we could get any facts on it. Just some people have said,
All of your
own
parents know that first night that you get to go out with your boys after having a kid and just how ham you go. Mookie went hammer. He went way more ham than that.
yeah.
Gabe wanted to know what the charge was. He escaped, Gabe. No charge. It's amazing to me. I have no idea how it happened.
He got a Scott on, baby. You ain't got to pay if you don't believe you have to pay.
Yeah. Well, you also don't have to pay when the Uber driver is super cool and just pulls over and starts playing.
He was the coolest Uber driver I've ever had.
Yeah. I mean, he had a nice little hustle going too. Like he had a whole system. Like we should that's one of those ones where you need to like save that driver and be like, hey, next time, like let's try to see if we can find him again.
It was, you knew Mookie was in bad shape when we were talking with the Uber driver about bets that he had made, and Mookie didn't say a word. Like he was that far gone that this dude was talking about bets and parlays, and he's putting money on this, and Mookie was quiet until I heard in the back, "Mookie, you all right?"
Because I looked over and I'm like, that doesn't look like a man who's all right. He's doing the whole, chipmunk cheeks. Like, we're in trouble.
Mook, I'm glad you're here, buddy. It's good to see you.
Yep.
Welcome to being a dad, bro.
Yep.
Story to tell your kid. Hey, we got an awesome show tonight. We actually have a special guest joining us tonight. It's a blast from the past, ladies and gentlemen. There's a big boxing match this weekend. We got Paul Tyson. There's a big UFC card. So we had to bring back our boy, our fight correspondent, the man who knows everything there is to know about the fight game, Money Blakeweather, Blake Stevenson. Blake, how you doing, man?
Who the fuck is that? I'm just kidding. We know who that guy is. How is everybody doing out in podcast land? Some of y'all may know me if you've tuned in for the show long enough. And some of y'all may not. I may be new to some and old to others, but whoever I'm talking to, hi, hello, how you doing? Guys, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to get some fights. I don't want to say right and I don't want to say wrong. Get some fights like, meh, we'll figure it out. I'm going to enlighten some people, maybe on some things they haven't thought about, and then some things that maybe you have, and then you're like, I don't know why I'm tuning into this guy. Is he Mexican? Is he Greek? I don't even know what this guy is.
Well, all that
So-
matters, Blake, is you're already getting comments.
yep.
That hairline. The fans of this show are jealous of.
36 years old. Got it's a good little hair plugs though, right? Like these are some good. Look at that. Look at that. Nice little. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, shout outs to Turkey for all the hair plugs. You know.
Blake, it's so good to see you, man. I'm so glad to. For those of you that don't know, anybody that's in the Facebook group, the Craft Root Sports Facebook group, you can thank Blake because he started it. Like that was his.
Yes.
He was like, "Hey guys, you should start a Facebook group, and then it'll be really fun." So that was all you, man. You did it all.
Man. Thank you so much. Yeah, I loved the show early on, and I believed in y'all, and I'm so glad that everybody is doing like. But
all this past tense.
I was going to say,
loved the show, believed in y'all, and I'm back.
and then now I'm like, oh, what are these guys doing? They're still doing this, huh? All right. Wow. Well, all right. That's good. I guess some things never change. Like, that's great. It was
Blake,
great.
you were there when we like first started like video too. Like for the longest time, we were just audio only, and you were like, "No, you guys should go live. You guys should just like."
You had
video.
done
Go
one or
live."
two with like Kyle Steele. Like I got turned on because Kyle Steele came on y'all's show, and we connected through the MMA stuff, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this show is like, and I started. I don't even listen. I don't even watch sport. I don't even know what kind of field goals they make in hockey. You know what I mean? But like, I really like the way that you guys like talked, and then y'all did one or two, and I'm like, y'all just keep doing that. Like, I think people are gonna love this. And then y'all got like 2 cameras, and then y'all started getting fancy, and then y'all had a phone line. I don't know who's been here for the phone line. I don't even remember that. They would play the voicemails, and I would just call in talking shit. It was the greatest thing. The greatest
Drunk
invention
line
since
was
sliced bread.
Funny, I was gonna say, funny enough, that's like Mookie. That's the genesis of Mookie being on the show. He was like the pioneer of the drunk line.
Mookie legit. Now everybody used the drunk line to just call in and like give us their takes or like say their things. Mookie was the only one who legit got hammered and then called into the drunk line and was like,
So you did
"Hey,
it correct.
how do
Yeah.
we know that that's how dinosaurs really sound?"
I mean, come on now. Like, let's be like, we still haven't answered that question. It's been like 8 years, and we've made no progress on it. But we have talked a lot about platypi, so there's that.
Yeah. Blake, I'm glad you brought up Kyle because Matt Barr said in the comments, Kyle Steele, he's a realtor.
I don't know if people knew that. Yeah.
He also said renowned realtor, Kyle.
For people that don't know, this guy is just completely real. Everybody has bought in their house. I think he even sold the White House to Congress. So he is a
Nice.
legit realtor. He's so good. Let's everybody just go follow his page or do whatever he's doing.
Well, Blake, it's so good to see you, man. I'm glad you're on. Blake's going to be hanging out all night. We're going to talk this Paul Tyson fight. We're going to talk UFC 309. We've got some football stories we got to get to tonight. There was one story that came out that I bid on the headline, and I was very pumped to share it with everybody.
No.
And then I was disappointed afterwards. We got a new Wise Guys poll that we got to get to tonight, Mookie. Big changes in the Wise Guys poll. Big changes, Mook. I don't know how you're going to feel about this. You're either going to be, Mookie, you are either going to be super excited or super disappointed with this week's Wise Guys poll. And then
It's going to be BYU. It's going to come down to that. I can already feel it.
I guess you're going to have to wait and see. Also, Walter Franco out here doing some crazy shit again. And then the Auburn basketball team, boys. We got to talk about these douchebags.
Dude.
Tons to get to. We'll get to all of those. Before we do that, though, let's talk about these beers that we were drinking tonight. We're rating them, as always, on our boy Caesar scale. Dog or no dog? Scott, what is in your mug? Is it a dog or not?
I'm drinking Bud Light. And unlike Caesar, this is not my first time. It's no dog. It's just here.
Hey, did you know that Bud Light is the light version of Budweiser?
I did in fact discover that this is the lighter version of Budweiser.
Even though it's blue and Budweiser's red, they're still from the same company.
wild.
It's
This
crazy.
one lost the election too, I'm guessing.
Oh, shit.
By the majority popular vote. Yeah.
Mookie, are you drinking tonight? Because with how hammered you were Saturday night, I would figure you would still be working that one off.
It was something I had thought about a lot, and I'm going for it because I feel like I can do one. This one I was looking forward to, picked it up last week. Rainy Day Clubhouse Fest Beer Lager from Streetside Brewing. Some dope can art, Cade Crayon art making us feel good about the world. I bought it on election day, and I was like, you know what? We need rainbows and sunshine, and we'll think about that as we drink, our minds away. And it's an absolute dog. I'm excited I get to have a couple more since it was a 4-pack. So, yeah, good times from Rainy Days Clubhouse.
Very nice. Very nice. Blake, you teased before the show. You have one of my favorite beers.
Yeah. So I have a Pumpkinator. This is a 2024 bourbon barrel. It has cocoa nibs, vanilla, and coffee. There's a lot less of these than the regular Pumpkinator. Haven't tried it yet. If you want to hang on real quick, let me take a swig, see what's happening.
Let's get the initial reaction here from Money Blakeweather.
How are the nibs?
Good nibs.
Very nibby. Oh, that's nice.
There was Jimmy in there.
The bourbon really stings the nostrils, if you know what I mean. This is very good. I couldn't do like 2 of these, but like one of these will set your boy right. And I got some non-alcoholic beers, and like I feel like I should just give these to Drew, but I can't. So I'm gonna drink them in spirit for him.
I appreciate that.
Very nice. Would you classify that beer as a dog or not a dog?
Oh, it's dogged out. Like, is dog good or dog bad?
Dog's good.
Dog is good.
This Mad Dog right here. This is great.
Oh, kids don't even know about Mad Dog, but feel that.
All right, Matt. But first of all, Sarah, I got to get to your comment here. Sarah said, I got you a summer beer we're pushing winter. Listen, Sarah, the beers got handed off this weekend. They actually, Scott and actually have their beers.
It's why I'm drinking Bud Light.
Mookie got his today. The plan was to drink them today, but then we were like, no. We got Blake coming on. Does Matt Barr want to come on? Matt was like, let's let Blake have the spotlight. We'll do it next week. So next week, your tortilla beers are being drank on the show, barring some unforeseen circumstances. So I'm sorry, Sarah, but it's always tortilla beer season, right? I guess.
I mean, I'd buy that.
It's going to be a strange beer, I think. Matt Barr in the comments. Matt Barr is drinking Cloud Shapes Hazy IPA from Hardywood, 7.5% ABV. He says it is a dog. Gabe going with Tito's and soda. He's not messing around tonight. He's looking for that college football ranking show. He's watching Xavier going straight up Tito's and soda. Tyson, I'm going to give you the read. You don't deserve it, but I'll give it to you for your fake beer tonight. Round the Back Fudge Stout from Dirt Button Brewery, a dark chocolatey drink with hints of peanuts and corn, 6.9%. It's a solid number 2 dog.
That just sounds dirty. I don't know.
Yeah, it's fake, Blake.
It's Tyson.
Tyson tries to trip us up there. Rex says he's drinking Lost State of Franklin Maple Cinnamon Whiskey. It's the dog you don't want as a dad, but it sleeps on you while you unwind from work. That's the best kind of dog, man. No better love than the love between the dad and the dog that the dad didn't want. That sounds amazing. Maple cinnamon whiskey sounds good. Chase is drinking Publix brand ginger ale, and he said it's a dog.
That's like a dog right there, though. He didn't even say dog.
That is a dog.
Yeah.
I'm super glad that Blake is drinking the Pumpkinator because I reached into the fridge and grabbed myself the Pumpkin tonight. There was one of these left from Halloween. I was like, you know what? We're gonna finish that off. 8.5%. You already know that's a dog. That's one of the best pumpkin beers out there. Close. I mean, Pumpkinator is like close second, Blake. Like it's right there.
I need to try pumpkin. I've never tried that one. I have the what's the other Southern Tier one that they
Warlock?
Yeah, I still have a Warlock over here, like that from like 2019. Damn. I'm like, it'll age a little, it'll be fine. And it's something for the kids, you know what I mean? It'll be great.
It's an heirloom now.
I got that Warlock and Pumpkin, that almost caused a divorce in my house. Because I preferred Warlock over Pumpkin, and my wife was like, no, Pumpkin's better. Then we almost had to get a divorce over it. It was a big whole thing, but we made it.
Long story short, I have a new wife, so this is great.
Yada, yada, yada. I got a new wife.
I don't have a boxing drop. I don't have any intros for boxing or for fighting, so we're just going to get right into it. Blake, big fight this weekend. This has been hyped up. It was on the books, then canceled because Mike Tyson had something happen during camp. Fight back on. Here we are. We finally made it. Tyson made it through camp. Paul made it through camp. Netflix this Saturday, Paul versus Tyson. I don't know what to expect out of this, Blake. Like, this was one of those fights that when I saw it, I was like, Mike Tyson is going to murder somebody on my TV. And then the odds came out, and he was the underdog. And I'm
Mhm.
like, what world are we living in that Jake Paul is the favorite against Mike Tyson? I don't care that Mike Tyson's 57 years old. It's Mike Tyson, man.
The odds makers care that he's 57 years old. That's all that matters. Yeah, honestly, it's a 30-year age difference. However, I mean, we've never like lately. All we've seen is Mike Tyson be in shape, so it's tough to be like, well, Mike Tyson can't do shit, right? Like it's like no. Every time we've seen him, he kills people. Like even when he fought Roy Jones in that little exhibition fight, which initially the Jake Paul fight was an exhibition fight. This one's not an exhibition fight, but they are fighting 2-minute rounds for 8 rounds with 14-ounce gloves, which is not common. They usually use 10-ounce gloves. Very strange, a whole bunch of strange rules. It's almost like when you play Uno, but you have to like pick like the easy rules for somebody because like you're like, all right, we won't do double reverse Unos, but like we all know if we did double reverse Unos, I'd fuck you up. You know, you got to do a little makeshift rules and shit. But it is that 30-year age gap. There's something I want to point out though, and I think people forget about this fighter. Bernard Hopkins for the longest time fought well into like his like late 40s. And he was still champion. Like his nickname was the Alien because like he would just like survive and win. And it wasn't until he fought like Kovalev and then Smith, and then he fought Kovalev, definitely lost. He fought Smith, got knocked out of the ring. But those guys that he was fighting had been fighting all of their life. They're professional boxers. I say all that to say, of course, we've seen which Paul is this? The Jake? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to ask my
it's hard
assistant.
to keep them straight.
One of the Disney kids. And so he's fighting Jake Paul. And what's interesting is Jake Paul isn't fighting all of his life. He's been fighting since 20. Oh, it was on the 2018 is when the first time I saw him fight. He fought KSI's brother. They had a YouTube fight, right? It was Logan Paul versus KSI. KSI's little brother fought on the co-main, and so did Jake Paul. And I remember watching it. I'm like, Jake doesn't even seem bad. And this was before, like, I'm like, oh, leave him alone. He's not that great. But also, he improves so much. But he's every single fight. Like I have to acknowledge the kid. He's improving so much. But he's not like these guys who were fighting Bernard Hopkins when there was like a clear 20-year difference. And so, I mean, all that to say, long and short of this fight is like, yeah, like 30 years. Tyson hasn't fought in a while. He pulled punches when he fought Roy Jones Jr. Like he just hit him to the body a whole bunch, but you could tell it was like two uncles fighting for no good reason in the backyard.
They give that vibe
over the last pumpkin, you know, like you're like, bro, like we could split it. And they're like, no, this is about pride. This is about having the last pumpkin. But like, they don't really hit each other in the face. Like it's again, the little reverse Uno card rules. Right. And so, yeah, he just hit him to the body a whole bunch. And so we haven't seen Tyson like really go at it, except for mitts, which like for like 30 seconds. And it's like, I mean, there's celebrities that look decent on mitts for 30 seconds. So what are we saying? I say all that and people are like, you're not a Tyson fan. I'm a huge Tyson fan. I do expect him to come out in the early rounds and look very sharp. And then I expect him as the fight goes on past, maybe the third round, fourth round, he's going to look great in the first like 30, 40 seconds. And then Jake will, try to do what he does from the outside. And what he does from the outside is about essentially three things. He does this little fidgety jab, this little real nasty little jousty. I was watching Mighty Mouse break down this fight, and I'm like, that's a great word for it. He called it a jousty jab, and I'm like, yeah, like I ain't never seen no shit like that. Like that's not what a real boxer does. It's a jousty jab, and it don't make no goddamn sense. And so he does this jousty jab. He does the 1-1-2 really good, and the two that he ends with, the right hand that he ends with, is a real reckless son of a bitch of an overhand right. That's what he hurts people with. And then the third thing that he does really well is the left hook. He'll try to catch people with it. I mean, he knocked down Mike Perry with it for sure. I'm trying to think if he knocked out no, Tyron Woodley was definitely the right, and Ben Askren. But he throws this very nice left hook. But those are his three main things. And all Tyson has to do is just avoid those things. Can he do it for 8 rounds? That's at his age, right? Like the first things that go as a boxer or as a fighter, the first thing that goes is reflexes. The last thing to go is power. But all that to say, that's for an average human being. Like Tyson's been juicing, and not during camp. I think they're drug testing for this, but the man's been juiced up on all sort of Mexican supplements, and I've seen the receipts. Is all I'm saying. And he looks great. He doesn't look like an average person, and he also doesn't have one thing that the average person doesn't have, which is the boxing IQ, which I think is thrown out the window so much. Like anybody that's ever played, most people have played football, baseball, basketball, and they can watch these sports because they played them in elementary, middle school, high school, maybe even college level if they were lucky, pro if you're lucky of the lucky. And the thing is, you can watch a sport and you can know what's going to happen during the play. You can know, they're like, oh, he's going to juke that way or he's going to go that way. You can call these things. It's the same thing with anybody that's I've been training kickboxing and boxing since 2009. And when I'm watching fights, I'm able to call things. And like a second later, I'll hear Rogan say it or DC say it. And I'm like, yeah, like we all see the same thing. Give me a mic, coach. Put me in. Tag me in, coach. Where's the Mexican representation? Why do we just have to speak Spanish? Why does it just have to be Brandon Moreno? Why can't we? Anyways, that's another rant. That's a different show. But all that to say, the boxing IQ never leaves you. It's just about if you can make your body react to do the things that you want to do. This is a long ass rant. People are like, just get to the fucking point. All that to say, Tyson can win in the earlier rounds. Of course, with like a knockout, he can knock down Jake Paul. But as the fight goes on, I'm going to say past the third, so we'll go in 4th, 5th, 6th. Like he's just going to look good in bursts and in 30, 40-second increments. And is that enough to win him the fight? I want him to win. The odds are saying Jake Paul is going to win. I think Jake Paul winning by decision is like some sort of like way better favorite than like Tyson winning by decision. So I don't know if you guys are betting. If you don't have the extra peanuts in your pocket, don't make no bets.
You just peaked.
I mean, that's what I'm trying. No, I've been listening this whole time because that's all I want to ask him is like, so I hear take Tyson to get a knockdown early and then Paul by decision.
All right, so Mookie, I'll go through the odds for you because here's the live odds from DraftKings right now. So Jake Paul is at -210. Tyson is +170 on the money line. All right, so the juice has moved quite a bit because it opened up. Jake Paul was like -500 favorite to win this fight. Mm-hmm. But when we're looking at the winning method, crazy to me, the odds-on favorite is Jake Paul by KO, TKO, or DQ. And that's at +140. Like they think that Jake Paul is going to knock out Mike Tyson or that Mike Tyson is going to get disqualified. So maybe that's what people are betting on is that Mike Tyson is going to lose his fucking mind and like bite Jake Paul's
just absolutely destroy Jake Paul, like take the 14-ounce gloves off and then just literally take his fist and shove it through his mouth. I'd love to see that personally. But I don't think that they're giving you long enough odds to make that worth putting money on.
What's Tyson by KO?
Tyson by KO is +250, which is better odds than Paul by decision. So it's Jake Paul by KO, Tyson by KO, Jake Paul by decision, draw, and then Tyson by decision. So most people do not think Tyson, if it goes the distance, is going to get that decision.
Right.
That's what the odds are saying, at least right now.
But what's your prop market look like? I mean, I'm sure you got to have some nice props of like, okay, who gets knocked down first? When does the first knockdown occur? I feel like there's some juice over there that you could kind of look at.
Not a whole lot showing on DraftKings right now outside of will the fight end in the first 60 seconds of round 1, and that's +2,000 for a yes. So they do not think that Tyson's going to come out swinging.
He's not going to do one of those old school knockouts, so everybody gets pissed that they paid for it because it's over in the first.
Well, they won't get pissed now because everybody pays for Netflix. They're not going to be like, "Damn you, Netflix!" They're going to be like, "All right, what was I going to watch before this
Great Baking Championship? Here we go."
Let
me go turn on a Craft Brewed. Let me go watch that again. That was a fun thing.
I mean, we're always free on demand over here. So is this the first major fight you would say that Netflix has had, and what is their coverage like? Because I tried to watch the Amazon broadcast the other night for Thursday Night Football, and I got to tell you, man, leaves a lot to be desired.
I don't know. I have no idea what it's going to be like because this is the first combat sports fight that's ever been on Netflix, and I think in that aspect, this fight is tremendous for opening those doors because fight fans long have been upset, especially with something like, okay, so when DAZN started, DAZN was like
$6
or $7, and they're now like $20, and you have to pay for the pay-per-view. Like I remember when Canelo signed the deal with them, it was an 8-fight deal. It was like something like $300 million. It was outrageous. And they realized like very early on, they're like, people are just paying for this subscription just to watch him fight on pay-per-view. And everybody's like, yeah, this is what we wanted. And they're like, no, $50, $80. And they're like, but I already paid for the damn thing. Like, just give me the fight. Like, stop being stingy. So the fact that Netflix is already like, yeah, we're already making money, bro. It doesn't matter. Like, yeah, what more people will buy subscriptions that wouldn't use. Like, I'm gonna buy I canceled mine like 3 months ago when Umbrella Academy was over for the 4th season. I'm like, nah, I just need it for that. But I'm gonna buy a subscription this month. So they're getting $10 for me. I can't be the only one out there that's like $10. Yeah, that makes sense. So value wise, depending on how this goes, which will probably go tremendous, but on the production side and on the commentary side, which I have no idea what team they're going to use and how everything's going, they are drawing legitimate boxing fans because even the co-main event, Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, that was an amazing fight about a year and a half ago that went split decision for Katie Taylor. Amazing fight. Like just not guys, not gals, like just an amazing fight, let alone an amazing fight between two like legit world-class women. And so the fact that that's on the undercard, they're really trying to bring in like legitimate boxing heads to be like, y'all, I know y'all not here for this bullshit, but here's a good one for you. And you're like, yeah, all right. I'll gander. I'll stay. So they are trying to make the right moves. It's just going to be like, what is the production value? What are the cuts going to be like from the cameras, right? What a commentary team, who are they getting? I have no idea. If they get some inexperienced, like whatever's like, people are gonna be like, this shit, I'm going to watch this shit on mute. Like, and without the subtitles, like this shit is trash. So there's a lot to be like, how is this going to play out on that aspect? Almost to me, is just as intriguing as like, how is this fight going to play out?
I'm just curious if
Paul
the stream
doesn't get the like respect of the boxing community, because when you look at all of Paul's fights, he's fought all of these like UFC dudes, like not true boxers. He hasn't like really fought like true boxers in his 11 fight career or whatever it's been. And every fight that he has been like, it's not what you think of when you think about you know, when I think of boxing, I'm thinking of like Larry Merchant and fucking Jim Lampley, like calling the fight. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking old school boxing, HBO, Showtime. Like that's what I think of when I think of boxing. And Paul has kind of flipped the world upside down on it, where it's more of a show and not so much about the fight. So like, does this bring legitimacy to Paul, or the fact that this is Netflix's first step in? Is this still just another rung in like the, oh, here comes the circus again, this isn't real fighting?
It's a twofold question, right? Because he fought Tommy Fury, which is Tyson Fury, former heavyweight champion of the world. It's his younger
former
brother.
Love Island participant too. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, he's real reality TV type of guy over there.
Yeah.
But he's like a legit like,
and he lost.
No, he won. He won.
I thought Fury won that one.
Fury won. That's what I'm saying. Fury won.
Oh,
are we saying the
yeah,
same thing? Yeah, Fury won that fight.
Yeah.
And so even with that loss, people were like, at least he fought a legit like boxer, even though Fury was like 2-0, 3-0. It didn't matter because of the name value that Fury was coming in. He already had an amateur record, like very well established family. And so there was a time where after that fight, it was like, well, depending on what Jake Paul does, like if he fights another like boxer who's like on the come up or whatever, he can sort of build up his name in that way. And he chose not to do it. He chose to go for
fight Mike Tyson, one of the greatest champions of all time, who's like 50 something.
4 fights later, right? Like I think he fought Anderson Silva after that.
Nate
and then
Diaz.
he fought
Nate
Diaz, right?
How dare you guys just shitting all over Nate Washington? Like Nate Washington was a legit.
Wait, former NFL player Nate Washington?
He fought his second fight.
Former NBA basketball star Nate Washington.
He got knocked up. Back out.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, that was my first exposure to like Paul, was that whole circus.
I forget what that full card was, but I remember he was like the second or third fight on there, and I was like, "Oh, all right." So he knocked out a basketball guy. I'm like, all right, what else is next? Like,
Right.
like it's not a big deal. Even when every time he knocked out Askren and Tyron, I'm like, all right, what else is like? It's not. These guys don't have hands in the first place. They didn't win. Like everybody be like, oh yeah, Tyron Woodley knocked out, this guy. I'm like, yeah, but like he also trained like 20% of the time kicks and 30% wrestling and like 20% like that. Like he didn't focus on hands. Like a kid who's focused on hands, no matter how long you've been doing it, like that. If it's a graph, it is a graph, right? And like you're like, I'm here. If this dude's here and all he's doing is hands, he's just gonna exceed, and he's gonna look better, even if he's not completely a better quote unquote fighter. That's why I'm saying like Jake Paul, people you can love him or hate him, but like he does like to me. I watch him, I'm like, he's getting better, but like he just needs to fight a legitimate boxer. So this does, to your point, the first question, this adds more credibility a little bit. At least he's fighting a boxer, even if he's 1,000 years old.
60.
Yeah, even if he's taking Viagra every day, like it doesn't matter. And then this adds.
That's the secret.
I think it is the long life. We'll talk about that later. And then this also adds legitimacy to Netflix, because if it was just a circus of fights, they throw a circus of fights together. All the rest of the fights are like up and coming boxers. And then, like I said, the co-main event being Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, like that is a respectable, like world-class boxing fight. And they're fighting for a title. So it's like, I think they're really trying to draw in casual fans, but also boxing fans at the same time, to be like, hey guys, we put on fights too. And here's some fun ones, but like, come for the warlock, stay for the pumpkin type thing. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's good thinking on your toes. Scott, Blake, I'm sorry. We'll come back to that in 1 second, but I need to yell at Scott for a second, because Scott, you cannot put that out on the Craft Brewed Sports.
Sure I can. I'm not logging out.
I wanted to jump in there, but Blake was giving such an eloquent response that I couldn't jump in.
Oh, I know.
The
timing was done on purpose.
Nate Washington, and the correct answer is Nate Robinson.
That
Nate
guy.
Robinson was who
Jake
Paul beat. And then Scott had the nerve from the show account to respond. To be fair, all Nates look alike.
Race card.
Thank you, Mookie. Appreciate you.
I mean, they do.
We're all about to get canceled. I just came on to say like who's gonna win this fight. I didn't come in to get canceled, guys. I mean, I don't know. I'm Mexican, so I can. Yeah, you get a little bit more leeway when you're Mexican, I suppose. But yeah, all that to say, if you're gonna play some bets, Tyson early, watch for him to make little blitzes and bursts. And if it goes 8, unless he's knocked down Jake Paul at least once, maybe twice, probably Jake Paul by decision. I don't want Jake Paul to win. I'm going for Tyson, but just to let you know, to be fair and like non-biased, like that's probably going to go one of those two ways.
That's disappointing. I don't want to see Jake Paul win. He annoys me because wasn't he the kid that came up through YouTube doing dumb shit online and making a bunch of money for it? Like
I think that was his brother, but same difference.
All
Pauls look alike. Can we do that?
All Pauls look. See, exactly. Let's just lean into it.
My man.
Race card.
Somebody named Paul is like Chinese. They're like, listen, we don't all look alike.
Oh man. All right. So you're saying Tyson early or Paul later?
Paul by decision
is the bet to go with here.
Yeah.
Let's talk real quick about some of these other props, because there are some knockdown props that we can go with here. There
you go.
Like we've got both fighters to be knocked down is plus 320. Either fighter to be knocked down is minus 285. So I think that's an easy one to take, especially in a parlay. But Jake Paul to be knocked down, he's minus 180 to not be knocked down, and then Tyson to be knocked down is the favorite is yes at minus 120. So like even DraftKings is out here telling you like Jake Paul is gonna knock down Tyson. Tyson's gonna have trouble knocking Jake Paul. Like,
well, it's because the odds say like Paul has knocked down every single opponent, even Tommy Fury. He knocked him down with a jab. Wasn't a very powerful one, and it was later into the fight. but he's knocked down everybody. So it would be like, yeah, calculative. And a lot of these, I'm not saying which company I work for, but I work for a whatever daily fantasy sports company. But like we have to use calculative, like, like they use like the AI and algorithms and all this stuff, and they compile this information. So like number wise makes sense, right? But like reality wise, like honestly, when's the last time Tyson got knocked? Probably even in sparring, when's the last time he got knocked down? Like the guy doesn't get knocked down. Like this, and also when he gets knocked down, it is by somebody who's more athletic and a better boxer, like Evander Holyfield, or somebody who's taller with a better jab, like Lennox Lewis, right? Or he's doing cocaine in Japan and gets knocked down by Buster Douglas, and this doesn't seem like one of those situations. So, like, those are the like big examples. Shit happens, but in all seriousness, Jake Paul's going up 20 pounds to go to heavyweight from light heavyweight and wherever he was fight, cruiserweight, whatever, all these catch weight fights. He's going up in weight. Power doesn't transfer up. Like, that's not how that shit works. Ask Roy Jones how that went, right? But it doesn't transfer up, for one. And two, he's not like taller, and he's not like this more athletic, like boxer athletic. He's like very sports athletic. He's not boxer athletic compared to Tyson. And so you have to take these things into account. So like when I say that, and then you're like, oh, like maybe he won't, like in boxing logic, you're probably not getting knocked down. But in like computer, actually, nerd talk logic, like yeah, I mean, statistics say somebody's getting knocked down that, Jake Paul's fighting. That's how that comes into play.
What are the odds on an ear getting bit? Come on, give the people what they really want.
I'm not seeing that. Well, that's probably where the DQ comes in. DQ. I'm not seeing much other options for that here.
It covers all bases.
Yeah. Hey, they need to be specific about how the DQ occurs. This is Tyson we're talking about.
I'm legit worried about Jake Paul. I'm scared for him because I know what the odds makers say. I know what Jake Paul, fans say. But at the end of the day, this is fucking Mike Tyson, man. Like, I can't shake that from my brain. And maybe it's just me holding on to what Mike Tyson used to be and not making the correlation that 58-year-old Mike Tyson is not the same guy I watched growing up. But in my head, I'm like, 58-year-old Mike Tyson is still Mike Tyson. And
yeah.
Both that Mike Tyson had.
Well, you and Jake Paul's mom are very worried. He's like, he has gone on interviews, been like, my mom keeps texting me throughout camp, like, baby, I'm very worried about this fight. I'm very concerned. Are you training? She's like talking to his coaches. Like, is he training? Okay. Is he doing okay?
Trained by Shane Mosley. That's wild. That is wild. I wouldn't have guessed. If you had given me 20 guesses to guess who was training Jake Paul for this fight, I would have never guessed Shane Mosley. Like, that's crazy to me. But Tyson was asked recently about his second personality, Iron Mike. And this is what he said. He said, quote, I'm always careful when that guy comes out. Every time I drink or get ready to fight and Iron Mike returns, I break out in handcuffs. Unfortunately, I have to fight and be that guy. I wish I could stop that guy. That guy haunts me. I wish I could stop that guy. I wish that guy died, but he's here again.
Oh my God.
Guys, if you're Jake Paul and you hear Mike Tyson say that, how much shit is in your drawers? Because it's got to be all of it, right? Like, to hear Mike Tyson say, I wish that guy died, but he didn't. He's here and he's back. Like, I'm terrified for what's going to happen.
Can you say it like Mike Tyson, though? Because I feel like it's got some semblance of Lou Holtz.
What about Lou Holtz just saying it? Just Lou out here just being like, I wish I could stop that guy. I wish that guy died, but he's here again. And then Lou's out there. Now I want to see Lou Holtz versus Jake Paul. Scott, you've been awfully quiet during this as Blake has laid this out pretty well. After hearing Blake break this down, where are you leaning on this fight? Are you leaning Tyson, or do you think Jake Paul has what it takes here?
I'm like you. I want nostalgic Mike. I want punch out Mike. I want him to just come out, knock him cold on his ass, and for it to be over in a minute. Like, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a throwback, but I don't know. Blake knows his shit, so I'm hoping that he doesn't lose. Let's just put it that way. I hope that Tyson doesn't lose.
Blake, there were some questions in the comments that we want you to answer here because
Okay.
we got to get back to the people. We got to let them know and get them the information they're looking for. Tyson wanted to know, what is the significance of the 14-ounce gloves?
Yeah, that's a great question. So most of the times in training camps, you want to train with 16-ounce gloves. And then when you fight with smaller gloves. You get to throw faster. It's a big thing. It would be the equivalent of like, I know in baseball, like they have like more weightier. This is going to sound hurt.
Yep, that's it.
Weightier balls.
Weightier.
Weightier balls. I was going to go there.
Yeah, you got weightier balls.
They got weightier balls, right? But they're for pitchers and they're for throwing and they're for you to like throw harder, throw faster, throw better. It's the same thing with the boxing gloves. For you to, if you're training with 16-ounce gloves, like a pound of foam, when you put on 8-ounce gloves or 10-ounce glove, you're going to throw so much faster. You're going to throw so much with so much more pop, and you're going to you feel like if you're a 170-pound guy, you're going to feel like you're throwing at like 145-pound speed. You're going to be, oh my God, I didn't even know I could do this. But that's false. That's false because with the bigger gloves, you don't throw that fast. So the significance is the bigger the glove, the less impact that somebody can it's small. It's a small percentage. Less impact somebody could feel. And also you need to make sure that you're training with something bigger than that, which would be 16 ounces. Like some fighters are like, oh, fighting at 10, I'll train in 10. And that's absolutely fine. But you have to train different and the impact's going to be slightly, it almost feels like that favors Mike Tyson. Like it almost like the athletic commission's like, yeah, he's a little bit older. Can you put a little bit more foam on those gloves? Like just in case. Can you wear headgear? And they're like, no. And he's like, just get some bigger gloves.
That'll do it. That's all we need.
That's amazing. That's the difference between the boxing analyst, the guy who knows his shit, and me. Because I was like, boy, that's for Jake Paul, man. Because if Mike Tyson hit me with 14-ounce gloves, that's probably not going to hurt as bad as with 10-ounce gloves. God, I'm just such a prisoner of the nostalgia aspect of this fight. Rex wanted to know. He's got a sip, chug, drain, pour for us, fellas. Sip, chug, drain, pour. Which fight would be the best with prime Mike Tyson? Fighting Apollo Creed, Clubber Lang, or Ivan Drago? He said Dragon. I know what he meant. I won't leave that. I won't leave that error on Rex's side. That's a typo. That's a YouTube correction on its own. Sip, chug, drain, pour. Tyson versus Creed. Tyson versus Clubber. Tyson versus Drago. Blake, this is our version of Marry, Fuck, Kill. All right. So, Scott, I'll throw it to you first.
So Tyson would fuck them all. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I am going to sip Apollo Creed. I am going to pour drain Kluber Lane, and I'm going to.
Whoa, hold on, wait.
You heard me, Kluber. You heard me, Kluber. And I'm going with.
I'm trying to gloss over.
I'm trying to go. I'm
going
going
with
what
I'm talking about.
I'm going with Ivan Dragon as my chug.
That's a shocker. Mookie, you are resting back.
Yeah.
Scott said Kluber. Is that
Yeah, that threw me off for a while, almost like apricot. But I'm looking at this a different way. So I'm gonna pour drain Apollo Creed because we already saw Apollo got killed in the ring once. Like we don't need to see that again.
Good point.
I'll chug Kluber Lane because I don't know who that is, but
that's Mr. T, dude.
Yeah, no, I know, but like if we're calling him Kluber, I know who Clubber Lane is.
I never heard of that guy.
Lang.
Yeah, fuck, whatever.
It's all right.
I'm sipping on Ivan Drago. I think that would be a really interesting fight to see Tyson go up against that robot, where it's almost like power meets power. But I feel like that would be. I would hope it would go the distance.
Blake, both of these guys have got it wrong. What's your sip, chug, drain, pour?
I feel like Mike Tyson would tell him, I'm going to fuck your children's children. It's not going to be, I am Alexander the Great. I am impregnable. My defense is unpunishable. I'm going to come at you. You guys don't even, he would tell all of them that. You should have given me the line, Merle. I could have done a little sip Mike Tyson. We both have a lisp. That's why it works. But sip, chug, drain, pour. So it wasn't until, well, even if you brought up Apollo died in the ring, at least he beat Rocky, right? He beat Rocky. So that's something. So I'm going to drain pour Clubber Lang. I'm going to chug Apollo Creed. And I want to sip on this Ivan Drago of a fight because he's a tall, lankier guy. He throws power shots, got a jab. It reminds me of like in like a shades, not exactly, not a 1-for-1. This isn't apples for apples. He's in the fruit section with old Lennox Lewis, who was a taller opponent, more athletic, had a jab, kept Tyson at distance. That would be interesting. That would be interesting if he could make it past it. So I'm going to sip on that. That'd be good.
See,
all three of you guys got it wrong. The correct answer is to drain pour Drago. That is not the fight you want to see. You don't want to see Tyson versus Drago because we've already defeated communism once. We don't need an American to do it again. All right, Drago's done. He's out of here. You've got to chug Tyson versus Apollo Creed because everybody wants to know what it would be like to see Tyson versus Ali. That's the closest we're going to get. Tyson versus Creed, that's basically Tyson versus Ali. I'd love to see that one. And then you got to sip on Tyson versus Clubber because Clubber is Tyson. It's Tyson versus Tyson. He's fighting in the mirror, fellas. Who doesn't want to see Mike Tyson versus Mike Tyson? Tell me that when you guys played like all the boxing games growing up, you didn't have Tyson versus Tyson at some point in a matchup to just see what would happen. It'd be amazing, fellas. That's the way to do it.
What in the shit were you watching when you saw Clubber Lang box? Like, in no way did I see shifting. Did I see dipping? Did I see this? Like, bro, in no way did I see that when I saw Clubber. I saw a whole bunch of like that, bro. It looked like a organized high school fight. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I don't know. I mean, I leave you for the footballs and shit. Like, that's why, but I just want to make sure that we've been watching the same Tyson all along. I'm not watching
the same, like, I'm coming right at you. I'm fighting. I'm a junkyard dog. I'm coming right at you and I'm fighting like right at you, right out of the gate. Right. As soon as the bell rang, took off at you and took your head off.
Tyson would do that semi shift, that little semi shift, and then hit him with a little one to the body, another one to the body, hook to the head. The dude's dead. The guy would die. Like, He
killed Mr. T.
He killed Mr. T.
I like the definitive nature with which Mike told us we were all wrong and then got shat on.
Congratulations. Well, it's only because I also told Blake he was wrong. If I was like, not bad, Blake, not bad, but I was flat out like, you're wrong. Dude, that's who Clubber was based off of, was Tyson.
They did a horrible. That's why I don't like the Rocky movies. They get boxing wrong in all of them.
What?
I'm not the only one who thinks.
Wait a second, hold up. You mean to tell me somebody can go 15 rounds in a championship fight and not get cut once, like standing there trading blows, and they don't get cut once? How did they? I thought that's what boxing was, Blake. How'd they get that wrong?
No comment. Hollywood magic. I don't.
Actually, hit him with the pass and just move on.
Listen, white boy, you don't talk about me in that way. Listen, I come at you, I kill your whole children. Now I'm doing the Tyson. Look at that. Now you got Tyson angry. Don't do that. Don't make Tyson angry. No, don't make Tyson angry.
Iron Blake.
Sarah dropped another sip, chug, drain, pour. Paulie Shore, Paul Walker, or Paul Newman. Scott, go.
Wow.
Well, I'm going to pour, drain Paul Walker like life did.
God,
Hold on.
Chug Paul Newman, and I'm gonna wheeze some juice, baby. Holy sure.
Mookie, Paulie Shore, Paul Walker, Paul Newman.
I was gonna say I don't really care too much between Paul Walker and Paul Newman, but Scott nailed it with when life pour drains you, you just have to get pour drained, I guess. So yeah, I'm a +1 to Scott.
Blake,
what kind of show is this? Wait a minute, I thought this was Price is Right. I'm never coming back.
Now it all makes sense. I loved you guys. You guys were doing good things. It's all adding up.
What kind of shit is this? Listen, I'm gonna be nice to the homie. I gotta sit me on some Paul Walker. I love that dude. You know what? Chuck me a little of the Weasel Meister.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna drain pour some Paul Newman. Bro, we're all good. We're all set on some Pauls. we don't got too many Pauls in this club.
You don't fuck with that dressing?
Bro.
I was gonna say,
come on now.
All right.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drain pour Paul Walker. I'm chugging Paul Newman, and I'm sipping Paulie Shore. But guys, the comments keep flowing. Now Gabe wants to know
right?
Sip Chug Drain Pour, Chris Paul, Jake Paul, RuPaul.
I
Holy
mean-
shit, God. That's
I feel like this is an easy one though.
I'm pouring. I'm drain pouring Jake.
Yep.
I'm I'm chugging Rue.
Oh,
Pause.
whoa.
And
Ooh.
I'm sipping on Chris because I still go
Mm.
back to that Wake Forest kick in the nuts, baby. I still go back to that. That was where I fell in love with Chris Paul, and he's one of my favorite players during his career, even though it's still kind of going.
Mookie, Chris Paul, Jake Paul, RuPaul.
I mean, I thought Scott was going to nail it, but no, you clearly have to pour drain Jake Paul. I'm going to chug Chris Paul because I'm tired of him. He's old, but he's still around.
So
You
are
can't-
we.
You can't fuck. We don't need to talk about that. You can't beat his State Farm commercials though. And then RuPaul, that guy, every time he cracks me up.
That guy.
Wow.
That guy.
Money Blake. We're just gonna.
I
move
don't
on.
even know
Oh,
where to
them. Sorry, fuck.
go with any of it. You know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna just do a little twisty twist. Even though I'm not the biggest fan, at least he's in box. I'm gonna sip a little bit of Jake. I'll chug a little bit of Rue. I'm a drain pour Chris Paul. I don't even. There's a basketball guy, right? He does the.
He is a basketball
He
guy.
bounces a basketball. And,
He bounces.
He
Doesn't
does
matter.
he does bounce it numerous times.
all right, sweet. I wanted to drain pour the right guy. You know what I mean? Cool.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna drain pour Jake Paul. I'm chugging RuPaul, and I'm sipping Chris Paul. Man, great sip chug drain pours. And look at this. Here's another one from Rex. Sip chug drain pour. Paul Hollywood from the Great British Baking Show. Paul Bunyan and Paul Bearer. Scott, there's some Pauls for you. Mookie, that's the correct reaction. Of just like, what the fuck is happening? Right?
Tip Paul
I love it.
Hollywood.
I'm
Pour
in.
drain the other two.
You can respect the game.
Bull,
Scott,
yeah, respect
fine.
the game. I'm pour draining Hollywood.
Oh,
I am chugging Bunyan, and I'm here for Paul Bearer.
Blake, are you drunk enough to do this one yet? This
Oh,
this
I've
where
only
we
had
get
one
weird,
beer.
bro.
I've only had one beer, so I'm still in my right mind. So I'm gonna get this completely sober. I'm gonna drain pour Paul Holly. I don't even know who that is. Is this some the TikToker? Is this what this is?
You don't
British
need to.
baking.
You're
yes,
fine. Pour 'em out.
yes, TikToker.
Fantastic. You know what? We'll
Paul guy.
we'll chug on some Paul Bear, and then because we're all manly men, we'll sip on some Paul Bunyan. Like that sounds like a good whiskey. If somebody made a whiskey called a Paul Bunyan, I'd have been like,
Hell
man, like that. A Paul Bunyan, like extra barrel cask type
Ooh,
shit.
but it has to be blue in honor of his ox.
Yeah. It's a little 10-year age, and they got a 15-year one. Like, yeah, let me sip on some of that Bunyan, baby. Let me get my Bunions going, Yeah.
I'm with
Interesting
Blake
interpretation of
on
Bunyan.
those as well. Drain pouring Hollywood, chugging Bear, and sipping on Bunyan. Let's switch gears here real quick because Robert Taylor said earlier, we are all aware that the more exciting combat fight is happening the very next night, right? Chase corrected me earlier. This Tyson fight is Friday. The Tyson
Right.
Paul
It's
fight.
Friday, and then the UFC is
I
Saturday.
said Saturday. It's my bad. UFC. That's why UFC 309 is Saturday night, and that's what Robert has said. Blake is aware of. Blake, this is potentially Jon Jones's last fight. This is another one where we've got names that I recognize because they've been around forever. Like it's just dudes that I'm like, shit, that guy's still doing it, huh? You got Jon Jones and Stipe at
He's
the
like-
top of the card. Like, wow.
He's
Wow.
like he started when I started the podcast. Wow, good to see you. He's still kicking. That's great. Stipe Miocic, a former champion who lost to Francis Ngannou and ain't fought since, versus Jon Jones, who ain't fought since. He won the belt against Cyril Gane. It's a pretty simple fight. Like Jon Jones is probably going to beat Stipe, and that's no disrespect to Stipe because he was an amazing champion, but just I think Jon did the thing where you wait some time and you're like, he's old enough. Yeah, he can get it. He can get it, and not in the good way. Like when you see you
Not
see
like a
somebody
MILF.
Not that he can
yeah,
get it.
when you see somebody you're crushing on, you're like, they can get it. It's not like that. It's like you want to beat somebody up, and you're just wait. It's like if you were old and you waited for something, like you somebody's older than you that picked on you, and you waited till you were old, and you wait till they got the retirement home, and then you're like, and now they can get. I'm beat the shit out of them.
I got a list for when that happens.
Right. Yeah. Like when you're just before you hit the retirement home age, but like they're already there and you're like, I'm coming for your ass. That's what Jon Jones basically has done. He's waited for Stipe to get to the retirement phase, and then he's like, but now I'm back. And like Stipe's like, no, don't do that. So likely it's going to be Jon Jones's, he's fight party where he's just going to, beat up Stipe for a little bit. It might be for a little bit of time. It might be for 2-3 rounds. Likely the odds are saying it's not going to be for that long. I would like to see a round and a half. That would be fine to me. But yeah, after this, I don't think Jon Jones, with all the stuff, I think it's, and I don't think it has anything to do with fighting, even though that is a reason. Like, I don't think he wants anything to do with Aspinall, who's the interim champion. I don't think he wants anything to do with Alex Pereira, who's the light heavyweight champion, who's big enough to go up to heavyweight. I don't think he wants anything to do with it. I just think he wants to go do DWIs in peace and whatever he does. But champion Jon Jones just hit a mailbox. Isn't this wild? And he's just like, did I tell you that Donald Trump is the president and also Jon Jones is the greatest fucking fighter of all time? Like, we don't want to hear any no, none of that. So I think for me, if I'm a betting man, the odds should be good. Like if there's odds that this is Jon Jones' last fight, it sounds like a good little. If you got a couple peanuts in your pocket.
I love that Blake's out here just betting peannuts. That's it.
I was gonna say, what are peanuts doing in your
If you got
pocket?
peanuts in your pocket, just go ahead and throw a little peanuts on that one. Mookie, have you looked at these Jon Jones, Stipe odds or anything that piques
I hadn't
your
even
interest?
thought about it.
UFC?
I used to back in the day, but
Do
I
you
haven't
even
followed
UFC,
it.
bro? Come on now.
Do you even UFC?
I mean, it's been a minute. Like it was since Jon Jones last fought, actually, because that was the last one I watched. And then he was like, "I'm not fighting for a while." And I was like, "Okay, well, that lasted pretty short, but I would if I knew the fighters was interested. Like I could force myself into it, but there's college football, college basketball, hockey, a lot of other ways to waste my money."
You sound like a real pansy right now, Drew. You sound like somebody that don't just want to participate in sporting events, and that's okay.
I mean,
if you don't want to encompass all of the, if you want to be racist to UFC, that's fine.
So I can just pick one sport and that'll be the one. That's the one I'm gonna discriminate against. All right, cool. I guess I'm inclusive of everything. I'm just saying there's only so many hours in the day, and until YouTube TV comes with more than a 4-box, it's going to be a little tough.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you get multiple TVs, Mook, and then both of those TVs, all three TVs have a
you get
4-box on them. So you have 12 boxes
12 box.
at the same time. You get a
See,
12
this is where we run into the issue of this shit's on Netflix, so you get no box or you get 1 box.
Okay, so one TV is Netflix, then a 4-box on another TV, and then on the other TV you get more boxes. Just box it. All.
I mean,
And
whatever we
only
can
if
do
you're
to get more
watching it
box.
from a box.
That's true. Yeah.
Now the next level of box.
Yeah.
Life is always better with more box.
You do need more box in your life.
I've
That's
said
always
that for a while. Mhm.
Talking about vagina.
There's another fight on this card too, by the way.
God, Blake, hold on. I'll do it for Blake because he doesn't have access, but Blake just hit you with this.
Moving on.
Just speed on through that.
That was the only way to do that.
You have said 10 words on this show unprompted. I've had to go to you to get you to say something on the show. And one of the few times that's what you come up with is talking about vagina.
I mean, it was really well enunciated.
Sip, chug, drain, pour. You two or me. I feel like I'm getting poured out a lot tonight, folks.
Sarah, thank you for clearing that up.
You're welcome, Sarah. You are
I
very
feel like
welcome.
that's you're
That's
welcome
what
to
we
your
do here on
service
Trap Food Sports.
Yeah.
We clear up all the questions.
Blake, you said there's another fight on this card.
There's a lot of them, but we're going to talk about one other just so that way Robert Taylor doesn't hit us with
By the way,
remember, there's another fight.
Real quick. Jon Jones is minus 700 to win this fight. Just all the money on Jones to win. And he's the most likely outcome is Jones by KO TKO plus
Yeah.
120.
Yeah,
Like,
that sounds about right.
Apparently, Jones is just going to wipe the floor with Stipe. All right, the other big fight on this card, not the only other fight, but the big fight.
Yeah, Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler, who has been absent of the ring because Conor McGregor has trolled this man's life for over a year and a half and been like, I'm going to fight you. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And he's like, yeah, like a few months. And so it's a few months. And he's like, when are we going to fight? And Conor's like, yeah, in a few months. And then he did that 2 or 3 times. And then like finally over the summer channel was like, when do we fight? And Conor's like, that's funny. Next, he did the little moving on gift to old Chandler, but yeah, this is a rematch of the first time they fought. Charles Oliveira was the champion. It was Michael Chandler's, I believe, second fight in the UFC, and this was 2021. And I remember being at the bar watching this, and I almost threw my beer at the wall because I was like, come on, man. In the first fight, I say that, and you're like, well, what happened, Blake? Did somebody step on your shoes? Did somebody spit on you?
What happened, Blake?
Right. So glad that you asked, Drew. Not vagina, Scott. That didn't happen in this story. What ended up happening was Michael Chandler almost knocked this guy, like knocked him down, almost knocked him out. Round ends. They come out. Charles Oliveira gets him down and chokes him the fuck out. Like just chokes him out. And you're like, that dude was almost dead. Like, how did he do this? That doesn't make no sense. A guy came like zombied. He zombied. He Day of the Deaded it. He just came back. I don't know.
Usually your brain's not choke you out, but good to know. I mean,
they do a number of. I don't keep up with what the kids are doing on TikTok, but in this particular case, yeah, it came back from like a devastation, like of a knockdown, compiled himself, and then came back and choked out Michael Chandler. I'm going for Michael Chandler in this fight. Probably, I don't know what the odds are. I'd love for you to tell me. I'm sure the odds are going to be in Charles Oliveira's favor. Hadn't fought in a bit. I don't remember him fighting in a bit ever since he lost his title. I think there's been a little bit of a gappage, and neither has Michael Chandler. So it kind of makes sense that like, hey, it's been a while. You want to do a dance? Hey, it's been a while. Do you want to do a dance? Let's dance. It's what it seems like. They're each other's huckleberries.
Chucky, nice. Well played reference from pre-show. Well done. Chucky's at minus 265 odds in that fight.
For who? For Charles? Minus
Chucky.
Oh, okay, Chucky. Oh, he's white now. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. He's
scared of the names, Blake. I'm afraid of the names of the UFC, so I just throw out.
It's Charles. It's Charles. You can say Chucky. Charles. Chucky. Okay. All right. I was gonna say like I'm used to like my Mexican family, and like if it's Charles, it's Charles. I didn't be saying no. That's some white people shit, bro. Come on. Yeah, Chucky. It's like when they called Dwight Eisenhower Ike. Like, where the shit did that come up? Like, who the fuck calls? Anyways, that's a different podcast. That's a history one going on for you. But yeah, Charles Oliveira is probably the favorite. He probably, if it gets to the ground or like he somehow survives another shot to the head or two, like gets Chandler. I just want Chandler to win, even though because the dude's getting older and he's like a nice guy. He's from like wherever, like Middle America, Missouri or wherever. Like he's a nice dude. And if he loses this, I don't ever think he lands that Conor fight, which is like one of the when Conor first, I'll say this and wrap this up. When Conor first came in the UFC, there was like a number of fights that I wanted to see where fighters weren't in the UFC. One of them was Eddie Alvarez, who he fought, who was in Bellator at the time. The other one was Michael Chandler, who he's never fought, who's now in the UFC, and they just never fought because Conor's like, yeah, fuck you, guy. I'm Conor McGregor. Fair play to you. He's just doing Conor McGregor shit. Yeah. And so if he doesn't win this fight, that fight never happens, and I really want to see that fight. So I'm really hoping Chandler gets the win, and like Charles Oliveira just doesn't pull a submission out of his ass, which he's very capable of doing. So Charles Oliveira by submission. If you want some good action in round 2 or 3, Michael Chandler under a round and a half for KO or by winning. That'd probably be some good odds.
Mookie, is this wetting your whistle? Are you?
I mean, that, yeah. Now, see, now that I can get into, I love a good choke out. Like that was my favorite part of watching UFC. Was back in the day. I felt
I'm glad you
got more submissions.
I'm glad you finished that statement. That was my favorite part. And then you said of the UFC, and I was thinking 50 Shades of Grey type shit. And I'm like, what? I thought we were talking about UFC.
Sometimes you just gotta change things up. Just see what's up. See what's going on. See what the kids on TikTok are talking about. You know.
There you go. Now you're talking.
Right.
Yeah. All right. I don't have anything more to say. What are you doing?
Sometimes Mike just likes to let the camera linger on you if you say something. Like he just.
It's the reaction shot. Sometimes you got it, especially when it's Mookie talking, and I just want to see because I experience it every week, right? Everybody around here that's like regulars have heard Mookie talk, and we all have the same reaction. So it's nice to see the reaction from somebody else where it's just like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what are we doing?
Who the fuck is that guy? Yeah. And Drew's over here like, I get no respect. My wife.
That's well played. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair play.
All right.
Google that one, kids. Google that one.
Caesar would be so impressed. I think
he would have no idea.
No, he would have no clue. But once he watched it, I think he would have a lot of great commentary.
Yes.
Guys, let's talk a little bit of football now. We're gonna start with NFL news. Jerry Jones built this $1 billion stadium that doesn't have shades. And for the second time this year, the sun has negatively impacted the Cowboys. And the man just keeps doubling down of like, no. He actually said today, it's a home field advantage.
Mm-hmm.
The lights, the sunlight glaring through and blinding CD Lamb and causing him to not see the ball. That's a home field advantage. You're the biggest Cowboys hater I know, Scott. How are you just taking all of this in?
I'm loving it. I mean, what do you want, Jared, to follow up on that? He's worried about not paying for kids he birthed and denied his entire life. So he doesn't have time to worry about the babies on the field that he's paying a whole bunch of money to catch the ball through the sun and all that. Remember, that's why they got the hole in the roof, so God can watch the Cowboys play. I guess God's not worried about the sun getting in their eyes either, but you know what? Let Jared do Jared. This is great. As long as that home field advantage sticks around for them for as long as it possibly can, I'm here for it.
Mookie, when you're placing your bets, does this impact you? Are you looking at the sun and where it's at in relation to the Cowboys stadium and how it's going to impact your betting?
No, I'm just betting up their line because they are such trash these days. It's funny. It's comical. I was listening to the radio today and they were pointing out that they're probably going to be in a spot where they're going to fuck up and have to pay Micah Parsons. And so between like CD Lamb, Dakota, and Micah Parsons, they're going to have like 40% of their salary cap or more just in those three dudes. Jared's lost it, man.
While still paying Mike McCarthy to coach this.
Still pay after I'm sure firing before this season's over. I'm sure they'll pull the move. They will like fire him early to get to the front of the line, and like it's still going to end up working out where like they get stiffed by who's the
anybody competent?
Right? Yeah.
Blake, you're in Texas. I know you're not a football fan, but what's the word around Texas with Jera and Jerry's World and the sun fucking with everybody's game?
Bro, that don't make no goddamn sense. Like that is the stupidest shit ever. Like Cowboy fans, first of all, some of the craziest fans in the world. Like, not in the good way. Not like where you're like, man, like they did some crazy. They like tore down the light post when the team won. Like, no, like Cowboy fans are like for the past 25 years, like Cowboys gonna do it again, and they never do. Jerry Jones probably leads a lot of Reddits where he's just like starting Cowboy talk, like we them boys and we're coming back for another year. But like, how do I say that and not sound like Jerry Jones, you know? I don't know why. I don't know why the man wouldn't put blinds on the damn stadium. It's a beautiful stadium. That's where they're having the Tyson fight. So hopefully when Jake Paul loses, he's not like, oh, the sun blinded me. Oh, my eyes. The moon, it's too bright. I hope that doesn't. I don't. This is the wildest shit I've ever heard of. So the Cowboys quarterback is being like, bro, we lost. They lost.
They did lose. They're terrible. And it wasn't the quarterback. Dak is injured. He's out for the year. But this was the receiver, CeeDee Lamb, who missed the pass.
Because the sun was in his eyes?
You could see the sun in his eyes. Like the images that they've taken from the field level, the sun is glaring right in these dudes' faces throughout. Like you're in a dome and the sun plays a huge impact in these games. And Jerry won't. The crazy thing is they've got blinds that they use for events. He doesn't want to use them for the football games. Like he wants the stadium.
He's like, it's God's team. God's going to bless his team and they can't do it through the blinds. Like God can't see the game through the blinds. Like why would we put blinds on? That's the wildest shit. Like, that man's crazy. I don't know why I don't know why Cowboy supporters do what they. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't. I live in Austin and I couldn't tell you.
The funniest thing for Jerry to do would be come out and then say, well, if this team didn't suck so poorly, we'd play in more night games and we wouldn't have to worry about the sun, you sons of bitches. Or hit them with the, don't they have those tinted visors? Don't y'all like wearing the visors? Throw one of those tinted visors on there, you sons of bitches. I'm not changing shit about my stadium. I would actually, for a half a second, respect Jerry if he came out hard like that. Like, if we were a better team, we'd play in more night games. This wouldn't be a fucking problem.
Yeah, what Scott said, that probably.
I mean, that's a bold move right there, but
no, I like it.
I bet you could call into Jerry's talk show and bait him into saying that.
Oh, there's 100% chance you could. You could probably get Jerry to say just about anything you wanted to.
Guys, this is what it looks like from the field. That's the view from the field in adult. Like
that's amazing.
The sun, the timing of these games, the sun is right in line with the window. Like I can't imagine like any competent owner looking at this image with the sun blaring through and like blinding the entire stadium and being like, you know what? Home field advantage, baby. That's what that is right there, because that only affects one team. Doesn't affect my team, just the other team. Like, what a fucking idiot.
We're used to playing with the sun in our eyes. We're Cowboys, baby.
Scott, I want to talk to you about your boys because the Niners pulled out a win this weekend, but there was some issues with the special teams, and Deebo Samuel wasn't too happy about it. What's up with your boy throwing punches at the long snapper and the kicker on the sidelines after they missed 3 field goal attempts or something like that?
As Matt Barr says constantly, kicker lives don't matter. Neither do long snappers or holders. Their lives don't matter either. So you get that shit together. I know. I was just as frustrated as Deebo watching your kicker miss multiple field goals in a single game. I know he's just coming back off injury, but fuck, you sit there and battle for an entire game, and the reason you're in a position to lose or they could have very easily lost that game was because the difference is your field goal kicker missing 3 of the things. The only thing that he does, he failed at 3 times. I've been just as pissed. So bygones are bygones. Everybody was saying today, heat of the battle, and things just got a little spicy.
You can't be throwing punches on the sidelines, man. Like you can't. And also, but I got to tell you, I love how Deebo did that, because if you missed the video, Deebo throws the punch at the long snapper. It was almost like he was trying to like grab his neck almost.
Yeah,
and came through with an open palm across the face, and as he hit the long snapper, he followed through and then hit the kicker. It was one motion hitting 2 guys, and I was like, that's actually kind of badass.
I just like the G. I like the G move of doing it, but as he's doing it, walking away, so there's no chance for retaliation. Like he knew it was fucked up to be doing, but he's like, well, I'm Deebo, so it's not like they'll come after me. So he just throws it on his way, walking away. Kind of a bitch move. Like if certain other players did it, you'd be like, wow, that's pretty bitch move. But Deebo did it. And I was like, yeah, man, fucking get those guys in line.
Scott is here for it. I mean,
Hell
whatever
yeah.
it takes to win, right? I mean, get good.
I mean, could you imagine if that was a regular game?
Sorry, Scott. The music messed up your audio. I don't know what you just finished with.
Oh, I was just saying, just imagine if that had been a playoff game of some type. Like, oh, you think they threw?
I
you
mean,
think he
not
threw
just
that
a
on the side?
playoff game. Imagine if it was a game of like any type of impact, like
Right,
you know what
any
I mean? Like,
consequence.
just any type of stakes attached to that game. The discourse around it would have been crazy.
Mike, we're
music-
losing you. We're losing you, Mike. We're losing you.
We're losing me. You
Yeah.
lost me. Am I back now? It's the music, I think.
It's the music.
All right, fair enough. Let's turn this down a little bit. We good, Blake? You got me?
Nope. Can't understand a word you're saying.
We're gonna have to do it no music. That sucks. It sucks. We gotta go no music on this one. But since Blake can't hear me, we'll go no music. This is the Wise Guys Top 10 college football top 10 rankings. If you've never watched this show before, this is where we rank the college football top 10 teams based solely on their odds to win the national title. Gabe, you said that twice. I think they're number 8. Go check again, man. I think the Irish came in at number 8 in the college football poll. If X told me anything while I was looking, well, Blake was talking. Anyways, this is where we rank based solely on the odds to win the national title. So here we go. Wise Guys top 10 for this week. Way more than 10 teams. Number 10, Clemson and SMU. Excuse me. Tied at plus 5,000. Mookie, what conference is SMU in right now?
Big 12.
ACC. Incorrect. So that's why they're right there with Clemson. So, they think Clemson or SMU or Miami is going to come out of the ACC. So Miami is number 9 at plus 4,000 odds. Number 8, Indiana, plus 2,500.
Wow,
big jump
that's
for
friendly.
IU. Number 7, we got a tie between Tennessee and Notre Dame. Our odds have moved up, Mookie, plus 2,000.
I know, we're looking
up.
good here.
Number 6, Penn State at plus 1,800. Number 5,
Joke.
Alabama and Ole Miss at plus 1,000. Big win for Lane Kiffin and them boys, taking on Georgia, knocking Georgia down. Really hurt them in the college football playoff rankings, but didn't hurt them very much in the Wise Guys. Plus 800 odds to win the national title after losing to Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. Georgia right there, still in the top 4. Texas at number
Let's
3 at
go.
plus 450.
Let's go.
There you go, Blake. Number 2, Oregon at plus 340, and Ohio State at plus 320. Scott, I thought for sure Georgia was going to fall out of the top 4 here this week, but they didn't. Odds makers still think they've got one of the best shots.
Dude, Carson Beck is a mess, though.
This is, I mean, you can blame this directly on Alabama. Like, I mean, seriously, it's like, they're like, whoa, whoa. Well, they're like, whoa, they can't both be out. Just knock them down just a little. But I mean, I'm here for it. I mean, you got to make sure you got that SEC representation.
I'm just happy that we're above Georgia because they came to Austin and they gave us a whole lesson, and it was to do with football and to do with world history. And they just came and they're like, let's school you real quick for just a little bit. And so just to see that we're above them on, even if it's on this Wise Guy list, my heart is so I couldn't give you an X-ray on it right now, but it's so content right now.
It's good. I'm glad Texas is getting some love.
Finally, dude, we've just been getting mollywopped for like years. Like I gave up like many years ago. Like the last years I was a fan was when we had Colt McCoy, and then like I guess like Bijan Robinson was a name, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's pretty good. But like now this year, like after like game 2, I'm like, man, y'all got room for one more? Like, what do we do? Hey, what's up? I got an old UT jersey. It says Vince Young on it, but like,
yeah. That one never goes out of style for real. Though.
College football game in the history of college football games
ever, hands down.
Just don't bring him up around Austin. People are like, "Oh, who? That guy, huh?" Like,
oh no,
heard he's doing a little. He's still alive though, so that's good.
Oh, there you go. All right, nice. Mookie, let's
Good to
get
set
you nice
the bar
and
high.
confused and look at the brackets because Gabe is also confused. Gabe is saying number 9 in the playoff, the real ranking. Gabe, I'm telling you, the real ranking, they're at 8. The Notre Dame is at 8 in the college football playoff ranking today. They've moved up. But let's look at our playoffs if we base it off of the different rankings.
That's not good.
We're starting with the wise guys. Ohio State in the 1 spot, Texas in the 2 spot, Miami at 3. Mookie, Colorado at number 4 in the wise rankings.
That's ridiculous.
It's not though. They're going to be the high. They're going to be.
They replaced BYU.
They replaced BYU, Big 12 champion, better odds than.
I
Boise
can't
State.
believe I'm going to say this, but I miss BYU. I'd rather have them there.
How dare you?
Nah, dude, they want Colorado in there. Could you?
Oh, I know
imagine
this. Yeah,
Colorado
this
in
is
the
very
playoffs?
obvious.
I mean,
Like,
I'm here for some prime time and some fucking playoffs. That would be awesome. I mean, even if they got their asses kicked, you know that some fuckery would happen, so it'd be worth it.
Well, and
See,
they
that's what I
would
feel like it would
because
be, though.
if you look at how this one plays out, that 5-12 matchup, Oregon would destroy Boise State and then pretty much have a cakewalk through Colorado. At the top part of that bracket, Ole Miss is going to crush Penn State, and then I think that Ole Miss Ohio State game
That
was
could be
pretty good. Then you got Alabama, Tennessee, toss up there, but it doesn't matter because I think Texas takes care of either one of those. And then you would have Notre Dame getting their shit destroyed in the first round before Georgia trounces Miami.
well, I don't know, actually. The way Carson Beck likes to turn the ball over with our defense, it could be not a terrible game for us. Maybe.
They still play defense, right?
Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy.
Come on, buddy.
Someone get your boy out of that Uber car. You know what I mean? Somebody can yeah, boy. You know what I mean?
Mookie, if we look at the AP rankings and then we'll look at the college football playoff rankings and where those AP would have it Oregon at 1, Texas at 2, BYU at 3, Miami at 4. Ohio State and Boise State at that 5-12 matchup. There's Ohio State waltzing their way to the semis. You got Notre Dame, Tennessee in the 8-9. A little bit of a toss-up there, but I think either one of those loses to Oregon. IU versus Alabama in the 7-10. I would like to see that game, but I think Texas beats either one of those two. And then the wild card, fellas. BYU at 3, playing the winner of Penn State and Ole Miss.
Wait. Is BYU? Is this what I'm thinking of? Like
That's the Mormons, yeah.
They done came correct this year. Damn, they converting a whole bunch. Wait a minute. Wow, they're all, everybody.
I'm gonna blow your mind for a second. The quarterback of BYU, Jewish dude. They call him BY Jew. It's amazing. It's
Jew, get out of here.
No, these are facts. These are facts.
That reaction was
on college football.
You can put that on your wallpaper, folks. That's great. I only got a couple of those in me.
There you go, fellas. This right here. The AP poll is basically the ticket for Lane Kiffin. That's how Lane Kiffin finds his way into the semifinals and then loses to Texas.
Oh, that's what I want to see. I want to see Lane Kiffin as an 11 seed in the Final Four.
Right now,
that would be awesome.
Here's the AP poll.
The plucky upstart SEC Ole Miss Rebels.
Do you guys notice anything different with the college football playoff committee poll? Here, let's do eye test. Here's number 1. Here's number 2. Number 1. Number 2.
The Ohio State logo is bigger on this one. Did I do it? Did I get it?
It's basically just the AP poll, the college football playoff committee, and Gabe correctly saying committee just took the AP. Yes, it's basically when you look at the rankings, AP and college football playoff are lockstep right now.
Which Gabe was right. Notre Dame was 9. So
technically they're ranked 8th. They get the 9 seed. Gabe, please don't go full Mookie on me here. They're ranked 8th. Get the 9 seed. Mookie, Sarah.
I'm trying to stick up for you, Gabe. I'm trying to help you out, man. But
Sarah wanting to know, do you think BYU has enough chutzpah to do anything?
Well, so here's the question. So in theory, we'll get a BYU Colorado Buffaloes conference final game?
Pac-12 championship, probably.
I'm okay with
That
that.
sounds fun. That sounds
yeah.
like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Actually, I dabble. And here's the thing. People are like, I thought you didn't watch sports, Blake. I dabble in college, especially this year when UT's doing good. I live in Austin. Like, how could I not? People like, you get off the planes here and they're like handing you UT gear. Like, welcome to Austin. I'll tell you what. And so it just is natural, like for you to just, I literally live like my gym is a half a mile away from, fucking UT campus. So like, it's like all over. Like, even if you were here and not a UT fan, you'd be like that meme that, brother, what's up, brother? You'd be like that all the time. So just like,
the impression game by Blake tonight has been amazing.
Right. Didn't realize
You
we
know
were
what's
going to get
amazing?
that.
Blake hasn't even busted out Alex Jones yet. Like, he hasn't even gone deep into his bag of tricks.
I haven't pulled out the deep state just yet. Hey, let me tell you, we got the black hell. Everybody's saying that the college football is copying the AP. We've seen the documents prove that what's going on is clearly Oregon. If you notice in the election, what happened was we were missing a whole bunch of votes. And so we're doing with the college. The college is just a representation of their, like, everybody go to Infowars.com. I'll be right back for commercials.
I love it. I love it. He gets the plug in. Make sure you get the plug in.
Give him the air horn for that.
I'll tell you an Alex Jones story off air after we're done here because nobody wants to hear that right now. But I'll tell you, I have a personal Alex Jones story off air.
Shit. All right. Might have to throw on the old recording for that one and keep.
But wait a minute. This is bullshit, though. If we're 8, why are they giving us the 9 seed?
Oh God, here we
Because
go.
you have the 5 conference champions.
Here we go.
Right.
Here it is.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's correct.
Oregon, Miami, BYU, Texas. Right. Right.
Yep. You're working it out. Go ahead. Keep going. Keep going. Keep working it out.
Penn State's 5.
Why does Notre Dame get the 9 seed?
Wait, Ohio State's 5. I don't know.
This feels like Big Daddy was like, hip hop anonymous. Damn you! You can be in the easy ones. Like, that's what it feels like I'm watching. Go ahead though. Keep going, Drew.
Mookie. So let's.
You got this.
So close. You're so close. Why does Notre Dame get the 9 seed when the 5 conference champions get automatic bids?
I don't know, man, because they're screwing us. That's the answer.
Let Mook cook. He's almost there. No, Mook, hold on. I'll bring it back up for you. Okay. I'll let you look at the bracket. Why does Notre Dame get the 9 seed in this bracket?
Well, because we don't get one of the first 4.
Okay, good. Proud of you.
You've got to have your next highest conference champion in there, which is Boise at 12.
Yep, that doesn't matter because they're behind Notre Dame. What team is knocking Notre Dame back ranking here? Come on, Mook. I believe in you. You could do it. You could do it, man.
BYU.
You're right there. You could do it.
I don't know.
This man.
Miami is ranked behind Notre Dame to get the 4 seed because they're a conference champion.
Oh, otherwise we'd be the 8. Yeah.
I hate you so much, Mookie. Like, I can't tell you how much I hate you. The only thing that would make me hate you more is if Uber actually charged me for you puking in, on, and around that car this weekend.
My family's so proud.
Boom shakalaka!
Did you guys hear about this Auburn basketball team that was playing Houston? Auburn was playing Houston. They get in the plane to go to Houston, and about 45 minutes into the flight, the pilot comes on and goes, "Hey, I got to make an emergency landing. We got basketball players fighting in the plane. Clothes have been torn. Punches have been thrown. We need police presence on the ground when we land." So they left at 2:40 p.m. They landed back at the airport at 3:30 p.m. Scott, the level of like how quickly this ratcheted up is amazing to me. Less than an hour in the airplane, and there was enough of a fight that the pilot had to turn around and go back to Auburn. The players were left on the tarmac. They weren't allowed to come to the game. They weren't allowed to catch the second flight. But what the hell happened, Scott, that you could ratchet it up that quickly in a tube in the sky?
I don't know, but if we go back to Gilbert Arenas, I'm guessing it had to do with gambling and money.
I was going to say card game.
Because that's the only thing that can escalate things that quickly, especially when we're talking about teammates, is there's some type of money and or female disagreement
Involved. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. As somebody that's from the hood, it sounds on par.
Like, as somebody who's hood adjacent, but has some tendencies, money or women. That's the only thing here that could have escalated that quickly. I remember getting that text on it because it happened like Friday night, right?
Yeah.
Like it was Friday. And I remember like looking at it and thinking, what in the hell am I reading right now? Like the team playing, they had to turn around, huh? But then I never did like actually felt like, do we know what the actual reason was? Did that come out?
Don't know what the
the
reason
two
was.
players.
It was a freshman and a senior, though, that were fighting. Like, it was...
Miller for three. Oh, he backed it in. We're going to overtime.
Officially in overtime now. Thank you, Rex, for calling that out. Appreciate you being the timekeeper for us. Yeah, no idea what actually started the fight, but my favorite part about it was it wasn't the Houston game, but the next game, Auburn won, and I'm pretty sure all of the players, like after winning the game, ran around the court with their arms out like they were airplanes, which is such an amazing troll job. Like, fuck y'all. Yeah, we fought on the plane, but here we are getting dubs, baby. Like, I thought that was one of the baddest ass things
I love
that they could have done.
Also, knowing now that it was a senior and a freshman, I hope that it was over some type of hazing. Like, bitch, when we get off this plane, you're gonna carry this Hello Kitty backpack. He's like, the fuck I am. And that's what had it escalate to that proportion.
Or this seems like the movie Drumline, where it could have been about a girl. Like, this seems...
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely money or chick.
Yeah. But she better be a baddie. Like, if she's like... and then you're like, you fought over her? Or like, it was like a small amount. You're like, $2? Like, really? Like, somebody didn't pay for somebody for a water? Like... We're serious. Like, this is it. I'm not. I don't like this. I don't like the story anymore. But if it,
Not a fan.
But if it was for like a baddie or a bad amount of money, and you're like, yeah, $10,000. Like, yeah, throw a punch. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
I mean, they got that NIL money now. It could be possible.
I just hate that they are so tight-lipped about it. They're like, stuff happens, things happen, we're teammates, blah blah blah. Like, it's the
FX will make a show about it. We'll figure it out here.
We'll get to. I was gonna say I want to get to Reddit. Reddit will have the answer to what happened.
Reddit is that nosy neighbor that you wish didn't know so much she did.
Yes,
but somehow she does, and you're like, come on, bro, have some decency. Let's go. Come on.
You're not impressed that she's figured some of it out, though. At least
I didn't say I wasn't impressed. I just said,
okay.
Yeah.
You feel dirty while looking it up, though. Like, you're like, why is this a topic, and why do people know this? But also, damn, that's what happened.
Also, I'm
really
glad I know. Yeah.
One of the dudes from Auburn said, quote, when you lock a bunch of dogs on a plane, what do you expect to happen? Which
I like that answer. I like that answer.
It's very reminiscent to me when I saw that quote. It was very reminiscent of we got some gangsters in that locker room.
That sounds like my
real tough guys.
My cousin who played, he plays rugby now, but he played Division 2 or 3 football, like in collegiate, and he would say some shit like that's literally like I feel like he gave that quote, but he wasn't him. But he would say like, "Oh, it's the dog in me, bro," and I'm like, "The fuck are you talking about, bro? You're a salesman. What are you doing?" Like, brother, what's that, brother?
I said it's the dog in me. Oh, fuck.
You're a salesman. That fucking sucks me. All right, let's wrap the show up with some soccer talk real quick here. I want to know.
That's why you brought the Mexican on. I get it. Makes sense. Makes sense. Go continue.
Well, now I feel very awkward about that. Thank you for that, Blake. Scott, I want to know actually how you received that FC Cincinnati game this weekend. So Mookie, Scott, and I go to the FC Cincinnati game. It's a tough one, 0-0 tie, goes to shootouts, 9 shots in the shootout round before FC Cincinnati finally loses. So Scott, as the non-soccer fan in the group, how did you feel like taking that game in? Besides me ogling all of the quads of these dudes, they're giant.
Oh my God.
I couldn't find. I was like, "Where's Alex Morgan?" I didn't know what's going on. But outside of that, I actually raved about it when I got home. I was talking about it with my brother, and I was impressed at a few things. One, I know it was a playoff game, and so maybe that skews it a little bit for me. I have no other point of reference, but the atmosphere was pretty damn intense, and soccer fans are very into, and that's what I assumed. I'm like, it's so different than like a regular season, major league game, or like even a regular season NFL game. Like, you get jacked, but like I felt the energy throughout the entire game. And then the view we had from the seats, it felt like just being on that level. Like, no matter where you were on that lower level, you would have a good view of the action. Never experienced that at a live event. And just in general, the fact that I know you guys weren't expecting going in to win that game, but the fact that it took that many penalty kicks and there was that much anxiety, like it was exciting as all shit. Like man,
that sounds like a Mighty Ducks movie. I like what's going on here.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was the perfect game to get somebody into like something that they're not, right? Like, if I was like, hey, I want you to really like this thing that I enjoy. Like, it hit all the points for me.
We had 2 different experiences watching an FC game. I'll tell you mine like after you tell you. We have an Austin FC team though, and I have a whole story about. But you go continue with this.
No, I was gonna say that was it. Like, I mean, I had a blast. I do remember thinking, like, soccer fans, no matter what anybody says about the sport itself, soccer fans are fucking intense and love their game, love their team, and love like watching all of that action, like are into it the whole fucking time. Like, there isn't anybody on their phone or doing any of that other type of bullshit.
So nobody's watching their kid during the game. They're watching the game.
Goddamn right.
Scott, the knock on soccer is always it's boring, it's low scoring, nothing really happens,
and nobody scored until
we watched 97 minutes of soccer, 97 plus, because there was some stoppage time in the first half too.
And you wouldn't know
plus, and it was nothing, and it was edge of your seat the entire time, right? Like, there was no, it wasn't.
In fact, it felt. I mean, I know that you guys had said it, but it's just like Cincinnati had all the pressure. Like, it felt like they were going to break through at any moment, and they should have like gotten one pass, but they were just a little bit off.
God, turn it into a soccer fan. Scott, you want to
look, man? Look,
no, Jordan, go all in. Come on.
No, I'm saying there have been times in my life where I really enjoy watching soccer and get into it. It just has a hard time holding me there. Like, it's like, so the next time I watch a soccer game, the lack of intensity from it not being a playoff game or something, it'll probably throw me, and it'll be like, well, they didn't score. But in all the situations, the stars aligned. It's like, it felt, I didn't notice, anybody who would go there to that game and complain about there being no scoring, they weren't into it. Like, they just weren't into it.
Let me just summarize that. Suck it, Matt Barr. That's right there. Blake, what's your Austin FC story that you got?
Yeah, a friend of mine invited me to an Austin FC story for my, shortly after my birthday. So I went, never been. And atmosphere is dope. Like, it's, many 1,000-seater little arena. And I imagine it's right. It's similar league to what y'all. I'm sure we play each other. I don't even.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so, watching the game, and I'm like, yeah, this is fun. But 10 minutes into it, I was having a blast. I'm like, oh, this is fun. Like, there's beers and yada yada. But 10 minutes into it, I'm watching it. I'm like, maybe I'm spoiled by watching big soccer games on TV. Maybe I'm just spoiled. But ain't nobody doing shit on this field. Like what?
Well, yeah, you can't.
Charlotte, and I would just like, ain't nobody doing shit. But anytime they would make it close to the goal, right? It's very, hey, let's go. It's very exciting. We got a whole, and like, I don't know how to say this without saying it. So I'm just gonna say it. We got a whole bunch of Mexicans here in Austin, and I'm one of them. But like, they have a whole like music section, and like, there are probably no seats there. They're just standing there, a whole bunch of Mexican fans watching soccer. It's so exciting to see. That feels there's some authenticness to it.
Would it sound like this?
Un, dos, tres, cuatro. Ding, 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 ding.
Our brains all went to the same thing.
Actually,
I'm really glad, Luke, that you had prefaced it because I was hovering over it. And I'm really glad you said something because I feel like all of us would have been clicking the same button at the same time to get the same audio.
I specifically didn't go to it. I was like, one of those two has to be ready to hit that drop.
Yeah, it's exactly that. There's a whole section. So do y'all have like is this a bunch of white people that are into soccer? Is there like a whole bunch of Mexican people? I don't know who lives in Ohio. I'm not north of the Mason-Dixon line. Like, I don't know what goes on, you know, but like,
they're eating the dogs. Yeah. All right.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. China. Yeah.
We needed a Blake impression counter for tonight because goddamn.
Listen, China, it's huge. Yeah, MLS is huge. Ohio. Yeah, no, but yeah, like, what is the fandom? What is there like my people? Are they over there? They make it over there?
It's a good mix.
Okay.
Here we got
that's
a good
really cool.
mix. You walk into the stadium. You got your hipster white dudes that are there that are drinking the PBRs and are like, I like soccer because it's different. But then you also got like soccer fans and you got Mexicans, and there was Scott wasn't the only black guy in the stadium. It was really cool to see the mixture of fans.
That could have been I was going to say, I'm so glad that was the case. It could have been getting ice with Scott, right, where he just had to like name all the black people in the stadium, like if there wasn't enough of that or the NHL.
Right, I messed up Nate Robinson's name tonight, so I'm not going down that road.
I do like that he named the segment for us when Scott gets iced.
Yeah,
that time when Scott gets iced because he can't name people. That's exactly what it was.
Blake was here for the heyday of me. Blake was in the comments section rooting against me.
That was the start of going live. Was you getting iced? We would just go live for that segment.
That's
and
right.
Get iced, and then we were like, let's just go live all the time.
So much fun. And here we are. But yeah, I didn't. My just long story short. Maybe I'm spoiled by watching real life soccer worldwide. They look so good, and then I saw our team, and I'm like, no wonder we lose, brother. I'll do it again. One more time. Continue though. We're done.
That's just MLS. MLS is definitely not top tier. Mook, though, I wanted to get your thoughts because the only thing that redeemed me for an FC Cincinnati getting bounced in the first round after me calling it and saying I don't want to celebrate Columbus getting beat because I feel like that's just going to jinx Cincinnati, and it did. So Scott, that's your fault. I'm putting that on you.
It's 100% my fault. Don't ever bring me again. But
no, I'm saying because you told me to dance on Columbus's grave, and I did, and then it jinxed FC Cincinnati. So that's your fault.
We still lasted longer in the playoffs than Columbus did. Exactly.
But we did not last as long as Inter Miami, who played later on that night. However,
who cares?
They also lost. So it's Mookie. The window. This was it. Columbus out. Inter Miami out. Like this was FC Cincinnati could have coasted to the MLS Cup, and they did it. It's done because this is a weird playoff format. But I wanted to get your opinion on Jordi Alba because Jordi Alba plays for Inter Miami, and Inter Miami set the points record, supporter shield, greatest season in MLS history, biggest payroll in MLS history. Jordi Alba said, quote, "It was a good season, but what we wanted was to win this more. In my opinion, I am not the one who is going to change now. This format seems a little unfair to me. It's clear this has been done this way for many years, but if you ask me, if it were up to me, I would have it to be the champion of one conference against the champion of the other to make it as fair as possible. That's how it is. I repeat, congratulations to the rival team. I think they competed very well against us. They knew their weapons. The goalkeeper was spectacular and good. I think that is clearly what marked the difference. Here he is complaining that the playoffs aren't fair immediately after getting bounced from the playoffs, Mook. You don't like the playoffs either. You don't like this format either, but this is a bitch move, right?
Get good. Like that's what it comes down to. Like, shut the fuck up and get good. Like, they should have beaten Atlanta in one game. They should have beaten him so badly in game one. They said, you know what? Let's not even play game two. Let's just call it as it is. But no, Miami's had an issue defending all season, and they decided to not do anything about it, thinking they'll outscore everyone until naturally there's a game that doesn't go their way. But I think it's more telling to see the Max like little bitches on the field when they tied it up at 2, going and shoving Brad Guzan, who, trust me, deserves it, into the net, screaming in people's faces like they were coming unraveled. Like,
he couldn't get out of the net.
He couldn't get out of the net, which was, yeah, absolutely hilarious. But look, man, this could be it'd probably be a hiccup, but it could be a problem that Miami has to deal with, because I feel like a lot of those stars are probably pointing the finger, because they should have had no problem with this game. They should have no problem with this series. The playoff format sucks. And if Jordi Alba complaining like a little child about it gets something done, great. But at the same time, like, dude, there's no excuse for what you put out in the field in 3 matches, especially after you won the first one. You just had to win 1 of 2, and 1 of them was at home. Like, oh my God, you love to see it. You really do.
I'm just disappointed that you didn't rip me once for my incorrect take that Miami was going to walk through the playoffs and win everything. But here we are. Anyways, let's talk about these beers that we were drinking, boys. Scott, what was in your mug? Rate it dog or no dog?
Bud Light. It is the lighter version of Budweiser. It is a beer.
Mookie, what were you drinking, dog or no dog?
Rainy Day Clubhouse from Streetside Brewing, absolute dog.
Blake, what did you have tonight, my man, dog or no dog?
Do it one more time. 2024 bourbon barrel aged pumpkinator. Such a is a little pit bull. Done got your boy. I recommend it if you can find it in your neighborhood.
It's got to be the nibs. It's the nibs.
It's the nibs. I had Pumpkin from Southern Tier, 8.5%. Absolute dog. It's my favorite pumpkin beer. Pumpkinator, right up there with it, though.
Oh, I'm at 13.6. That's what's going on.
I know. That's why Pumpkinator doesn't. They don't fuck around.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wine. It's a wine.
Blake,
still slaps.
dude, it's so good to see you. Tell people where they can find you, because you've been at it for a long time. You did UFC stuff. You did some dating stuff. Now you're onto a new project, right? There's a new venture that you're going with here.
Yeah. So you could find me on my YouTube channel, Nerds at Night, movie, TV show breakdowns. I do a lot of murder mysteries. I did Only Murders in the Building. If anybody watched that,
good show.
I feel like if you're not past 50, or if you're like maybe 35 and over, like, then it's for you. But like, none of the kids are like Only Murders. Like, is that the Disney girl, Selena? Yeah, she's in it. But yeah, I broke down Only Murders every week. I have breakdowns of every clue in Scream 1, Scream 2, Thanksgiving. And so I'm doing a lot of like slasher whodunits. I'm a big whodunit guy. I have breakdowns of the Kenneth Branagh, Hercule Poirot breakdown. So like, go check those out. Go check me out. Go follow me at Nerds at Night. Or if you just want to follow me on any social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. I'm not really on X, but like, you can X me out. Money Blakeweather. Just type it in. Like, that's literally, I don't know if I'm the smartest or dumbest person that has it, but like, I have all of them there. It'll be me. So yeah, feel free to follow me, say hi. Or if you're in Craft Brewed group, like, just be like, hey, Blake, like, oh, hi, it's me. You just tag me and say hi. Like, yeah, I'll say hi back. It's perfectly fine.
Dude, it was so good to talk to you again, Blake. Let's not let it go like 6 years between the next time you're on.
It's been way too long. It's been way
like-
too
I
long.
mean, if
Tighten
that's how
it
long
up
it
a
takes
little
Jon
bit.
Jones to fight, though, I mean, what are you gonna do?
We're still undefeated, and we have the title.
Very
Tyson fighting when he's 70.
Look at Blake vibing to the outro music, Scott. Did you see
Hey,
that?
dude, because the outro music is a whole ass vibe. That's why. We've said it plenty of times. This might be the best thing this show's done in forever.
I appreciate that. That makes me feel pretty good. I felt pretty good about the drops, but now I feel really good about the outro music. You know what this was tonight, boys? It was a fucking show. This was a show, fellas. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. All of you that are commenting, make sure you go hit that like button, ring that bell so you know when we go live. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Listen, if you got a friend that would also like this goofiness, tell them to subscribe. Help us bump up these numbers, all right? We need your help to grow because we swear too much and YouTube throttles us. So go hit that up. Subscribe. You can follow us at Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Crafty Sports. We're on all of those. Like Blake said, join the Facebook group. He started it, so go join it. help Blake's Facebook group grow that he started for the show. It's basically the show in between the show. It's all the comment section come to life. All the people you see commenting on the show are in there, so it's a good time. Go check that out. Shout out Belly Up Sports, bellyupsports.com. Tons of great content there. Go subscribe, rate, review all of the podcasts on the Belly Up Sports Media Network. We will be back next week on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Cheers, everybody.
We get throttled? Fuck that shit.
You'll never walk alone. Horns up.
I don't know much about your show or what's going on.